Hey y'all, it is the first day of Financemas, and over the next 25 days, I'm going to take you through 25 lessons that I have learned. Lesson being one, start the car. Start the car before you get in the car because it is winter time and it is freezing. Oh my God. So as the car is warming up, we're going to go through our first lesson. So we're going to talk about the story behind Bitch I'm Budgeting and my vision for the brand, but it's also here just so that I don't go off on a tangent, right? So before there was Bitch I'm Budgeting, honestly, there was just Selma. And if you don't know, I was actually born into the foster care system. And the one thing I learned really early on is that when you're born into a foster care system, the family that you end up with can literally make or break your life. And I've seen it so many different times within my own family because my mother did have 6 children and all of us were put into the foster care system. I was blessed to grow up with like the best family. They did not have that. Really not too long ago, I think one of those one of those foster care sister brothers literally robbed my brother. So like it can make or break your relationship and make or break your life. And for me, it really made who I was. I had a supportive, loving 2-parent household that I wasn't used to, right? Even with my birth mother, she was never like married. So it was just such a different energy. Even though I was the only Black child, it wasn't like something that was like shunned or like I felt absolutely loved. So literally from birth, being able to just live my life. My foster mother was all about just making sure that I went to school. I did what I had to do for school. I didn't necessarily have to work. If I wanted to work, it was because I wanted to do it, not that she forced me to do it. Even though she did get money for me, like I never went without anything. And I'm sure she used that money for everyone in the household, which was totally fine, right? I never went without. I never not had anything. I grew up in such a stable environment. And I think that played a huge part in how I want to also now raise my child to be in a stable environment, a loving environment, a 2-family environment. So the first lesson I learned early on was that the family you end up with, the environment that you end up in can really make or break. The next lesson I learned that I started working at 14. I actually worked in a supermarket, which was my first year in high school. And the lesson that I learned from that was that I needed to take care of myself. And honestly, I really didn't. I really wish I would have spent a lot more time just being a teenager, not trying to have my own when I didn't need it. So if you're like someone who's maybe like 13, 14, 15, enjoy those years, please. You're not going to get them back. You're absolutely not going to get them back. So please enjoy those years of just being a teenager, experimenting, going through life, right? Like making your connections in high school. I didn't do that. I did not make many connections in high school. I don't really have any high school friends because I used to go to school and then go straight to work. I did not need to be going to work at 14, but it did show me all that I could do and all that I could accomplish at a young age because I was bringing in money. Did I necessarily need it? No, but I was definitely bringing in money. Another thing behind like Bitch I'm Budgeting and behind Selma is that if you do not know, I grew up with a toxic mother, and that lesson in itself just made me realize I cannot change someone. I cannot alter their perspective. I cannot make them see what I see. I cannot have them feel sympathy for me. Like I can't do any of those things. And I think it comes to a point where you have to learn, do you live with this person or do you end up living without this person? And for me, it came down to I did not want to live with my birth mother. The relationship that I tried to have with her was something that it just wasn't working. It always felt like for me, it was more of a, like she would just take, and not really give anything back in return. It was always like, I'm your mother and it is what it is. And it's like, ma'am, do we have anything else besides I'm your mother? I got to give you money because you're my mother. Like I got to do all these things because you're my mother. There has to be another reason. There has to be another reason. I don't feel the love. I don't feel the anything, but you're telling me I got to do because you're my mother. It's a hard no for me. Talk about this one also, just behind who I am and being reflective and being honest was that the helpless girl was helping everyone else but herself. I was the helpless girl in my teens, in my early 20s, even in my late 20s. I was the helpless girl who felt like she was looking for love. She was looking for that mother relationship. Even though I had a great one with my foster mother, she was looking for that family that she had within. I did not experience that with like my real family, like bonding and family. I didn't have that. So I was always the girl who was just doing the most for everyone else. First way was just in relationships. I was always really realistically like the breadwinner. I was always the one like making the money. And I just felt like I needed to take care of people. It was really a codependency. It was a codependency. I needed to feel needed. And that is something that I have been working through sorry y'all, I'm sick. That is something that I have been working through for like the past 10 years. Like not being codependent or feeling like I need to be needed. And the moment I broke from that, the moment I broke free from that, life just started flourishing for me. Like I started to be like, yo, I can do imagine all the energy, all the money, all the consistency, all the love, all of the commitment I was putting into other people. The moment I started putting that into myself, my life completely changed. I became a totally different woman. Like, y'all, if you're in a space where, and you have to be honest with yourself, if you're in a space where you're codependent because you want people to need you, break free from it. I literally spent 2 to 3 years by myself at like 22, 23. I spent that time by myself, really just not being in a relationship, not having anyone need me, not me needing anyone. And it was such a game changer and how I operated that going into my late 20s, early 30s. Like, I just was like, no, like the codependency was almost disgusting. And sometimes, if I'm being real, it did not feel like a relationship. It felt like a mother-son, mother-daughter kind of thing. It was weird. So another lesson was I was codependent. And when I turned 30, that a little bit before 30, it changed. When people tell you your 30s are going to be different, believe them. I did not believe them. My 30s were different. My 30s turned into like me being loving who I am, me focused on me. Oh, ciao. It was amazing. All right. So Bitch on Budgeting, right? Behind Bitch on Budgeting and the brand, right? The lesson was I was broke. I was broke because I didn't know any better. I was broke because the people around me were broke. I was broke because nobody was doing anything different than what I saw. Most of the times I was like the higher achiever when it came to like money, when it came to like entrepreneurship. Like I didn't have anyone else around me who was doing what I wanted to do or who could show me, especially in real life. So the moment I joined social media and Instagram and started my debt-free journey and saw that people were also like doing the things that I wanted to do and they were successful at it, everything changed. And that started in like 2019. So we're going on like 5-6 years of just showing up as Bitch on Budgeting, showing up as the one who was only making $40,000 a year before taxes, showing up as the girl who could just help people, who could help herself, who could make financial strides, who could do all the things she wanted to do. Babes, Bitch on Budgeting became that brand. And if I'm being honest, she was really different from Selma. Selma was quiet. Selma was reserved. Selma did not want to talk about finances because she just didn't know. Bitch on Budgeting was like, and it's like, yo, this is how much I'm making. This is what I want to do with my life. These are the things that I'm going to do with my life. You could watch my journey or you could not watch my journey, but it's going to happen anyway. I'm going to be successful anyway. Right? And owning that story is something that I still do to this day. I still own exactly who I am. I still own where I started from the beginning. I still own all of those things while also saying I'm making great strides. Like, you can't fuck with me. Another thing bitch I'm budgeting does is that she goes beyond the money. And I think it's difficult for some people to do that because 90% of the time, the math is going to math. That is literally not our problem. It's the behaviors behind what we do, the trauma behind what we're doing, the healing that we need to do, right? So bitch I'm budgeting goes beyond the numbers, and she goes into getting in your face like, but are you healed? Right? But is that toxic relationship the thing that's holding you back? But is that man holding you back? Is that woman holding you back? Are your parents holding you back? Right? She goes into the deeper conversations, and baby, them conversations aren't always easy. Having someone tell you that you're messing up and it's because of you and it's because of your lack of boundaries and saying it to your face like that. Babes, sometimes I want to punch myself in the face like, girl, who are you talking to? But it's those honest conversations. It's that accountability that has brought me from the shy girl, the girl that didn't want to talk about money, to like this confident woman. Behind Selma, behind Bitch I'm Budgeting, there's a woman who has been working on herself for years. There's a woman who has been showing up for herself even when it was hard, when it was tough, when she was crying, when she had heartbreak, when she wanted to give up, when she wasn't connected to God. Like, all of that made me who I am today. All of those things made Bitch I'm Budgeting. All of those things made Selma. And as we close out the lesson for day one, it's all about understanding who are you behind you, right? Who are you, behind Bitch I'm Budgeting? It's Selma and all those things that we talked about just now. But who are you behind your name? What are you doing? How are you showing up for yourself in the most authentic way? Because I think we show up on Instagram and social media and all these places, and like we're seeing all these tidbits of who we want to be like and what we want to be like. Babes, be you. There's no one out there like you. There's no one out there who can curse people out about their finances like me, and they are receptive to it, right? So behind Bitch I'm Budgeting is just a girl who took a chance. A girl who took a chance, a girl who kept taking chances, a girl who failed, a girl who cried, a girl who got up, a girl who said, I'm not done yet. I'm a little emotional. It's a girl who said, keep going, right? What do you have to lose, right? Your life literally started at rock bottom, bitch. Only way else to go is up from here. So, yeah. It's crazy to think what 5 years of discipline, what 5 years of focus, what 5 years of consistency, what 5 years of a plan can do for you. So, my question to you is, who are you? And what are you doing for you?